I'm Caleb Morrow, 45, guiding tours through Gettysburg's blood-soaked fields, where the National Military Park guards the Civil War's darkest scars. In 1863, 51,000 souls bled out here, and their screams still echo at Devil's Den and Little Round Top. Last week, my tour's lantern caught Hannah, my sister, gone since 2013. Her eyes black, whispering Caleb. Now something's rising from the fields, blood oozing from the monuments. It's awake and it's starving. Hold tight, this one's a terror. The battlefield that hungers. Some fields don't rest, they feed. I'm Caleb Morrow, 45, running battlefield tours in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where the National Military Park sprawls over 3,585 acres of haunted ground. In 1863, the Battle of Gettysburg tore through here. 3 days of hell, leaving 51,000 dead, wounded, or lost. Locals whisper of ghostly soldiers marching at Cemetery Ridge, their moans rising from the peach orchard, and apparitions at Devil's Den, faces half-rotted, eyes glowing. They talk of voices at Little Round Top, calling names in the dark, though no one's there. I called it folklore, good for tours till last week when my lantern flickered, showing Hannah, my sister, vanished near Devil's Den in 2013. Her eyes black, mouth hissing, Caleb. Gettysburg's air is heavy now, thick with gunpowder and dread. The fields humming like a trap ready to spring. I weave stories, not ghosts, but that lantern's pulling me, like a bayonet in my chest. Last night a scream tore through my tour, low, wet, rising from the Soldiers' National Cemetery. I'm in my Jeep, Hannah's locket in my pocket, air sharp with rot and fear. Caleb? The monuments flicker in the moonlight, their stones pulsing red, and something moves in the fields, eyes like embers glowing. The battlefield's awake and it's got my name in its jaws. My office is a shack near the visitor center, its floorboards groaning, humming faint like a dying drum. Hannah's locket's heavier than iron, etched with a shroud, oozing tar. Caleb, see. My old tour notes, found in a drawer, mentioned 2010. Moans from the wheat field, monuments bleeding, a soldier's cry like a blade. The last page burns. Caleb, stay away. In my writing, though I never touched it. I try to snap the locket, but it's unyielding, humming low, a pulse that cracks my jaw. My radio crackles, no signal, just a whisper, wet, like mud on stone, hissing. Find me, Caleb. I park by Devil's Den, engine off, air thick with ash and something sour, like flesh gone bad. The locket has a shroud, deep pulsing red like a wound that breathes. My headlights flicker and the whispers closer from the battlefield's core, low, moaning, ravenous. You owe me, Caleb. My skin crawls, but I step out, boots sinking in mud, each step dragging me into a snare. The fields swallow the park, a red glow bleeding from the monuments, like eyes in the dust. The locket's burning my palm, though it's in the Jeep, new words scratched, dripping. It knows. I ain't alone, and the battlefield's claws are digging in. The park's alive, dust so thick it chokes, air wet with something that smells of decay. My flashlight's fading, catching shapes. Tattered uniforms, eyes like ash, hands reaching gone when I blink. The whispers sharper, old, desperate, like it's been moaning since 1863's blood dried. Caleb, you forgot me. I curse back, hear echoes, but my lungs burn like the dust's got teeth inside me. Hannah's journal stops mid-2013. Something in the wheat field, not a ghost, not a lie. The rest's torn, but the shroud scratched on every page, deeper like it's clawing out. A photo slips from my coat, one I didn't take. Me by Devil's Den, dust coiling around me, my eyes glowing red, wrong, hollow. The moan comes again, deafening from the cemetery, and the whisper shifts, like Hannah lost in 13, her voice choked, then a scream, guttural from the dark. I push to the gate, find a marker, stone cracked, air hot, a mirror, shattered, showing my face. But not mine. His pale eyes black with thread, mouth screaming my name. The shrouds carved in the dust, glowing red, oozing black tar that smells of rot. The voice is a regiment now, Hannah, others chanting, find her. Something scrapes the field, wet like flesh dragging. The locket's in my hand, words fresh, dripping. Look deeper, Caleb. I back away, and the mirror reforms. Glass melting into the shroud, the regiment screamin', my name a wound in the dust. I stumble back to my office, hands shaken, locket buried in my bag. It's hum like a heartbeat. I find Esther, 68, a retired park ranger who worked the battlefield in the 80s, now living in Fairfield, eyes sharp, fingers scarred from something that wasn't a bayonet. She's at a diner, voice low, like she's scared the walls are listening. "The wheat field?" she whispers. "It's real, Caleb. Never stopped." She talks of 1985, rangers hearing moans, seeing a soldier in a gray coat, his cry splitting their minds, his hands leaving burns. Esther saw him in 91, a shadow by the peach orchard, eyes black, moaning her name, his cap dripping black ooze. She warns me about the locket. "It's his, Caleb, not yours." Finds Morrow's, folks with loss, drags their pain up like a hook. I don't speak of Hannah, gone after a fight I couldn't stop, her voice still clawing my dreams. But Esther knows, her eyes cutting through my silence like a blade. "Bury it, Caleb, leave Pennsylvania." I leave, but the locket's heavier, the shroud on my palm, faint, burning like ice. Back in my Jeep, the air's thick and the regiment's louder. Hannah, strangers chanting, "You owe her." I find a new mark, oozing tar. Fields won't save you. The diner's lights flicker and Esther's car is parked empty. The shroud scratched deep, frame pulsing like flesh. I'm back at the park, no choice. The locket pulling me like a chain around my throat. The dust's alive, drifts humming, monuments curling like veins, cold and wet. Every night I see them, shadows in the fields, not human, but shapes, tattered, hollow, their limbs twisting like they're sewn from nightmares. They vanish when I stare, but my office's relics are moved, muskets tipped, their edges coated in slime, the shroud carved around them. The radio's dead, but it crackles, spitting voices from 1863. Hannah shouting, "He's here!" Then a wet gurgle, like something tore her throat. I set up a recorder, catch whispers no voice could make. "Caleb, you left me," they moan, or "Open the field." The recordings warp, like the battlefield's chewing them, but one name's clear, slithering through. Ezra. Ezra Tate, a Confederate soldier, killed at Devil's Den. His ghost a legend, cursing trespassers. I dig through archives, find a ranger's log. It walks not a man, drinks pain, knows names, its eyes see all. My name's in the margin, scratched fresh, wet with ink that smells of decay. The shadows are bolder, standing by fences, their eyes black, their hands dripping black ooze, reaching for me. I check my rear view, see my face, but my eyes flicker, red, like his, my skin scaling at the edges. The locket's in my hand, always there, the shroud glowing, words new, bleeding. "You're his, Caleb." The dust hums, monuments bend, their stone pulsing, faces in the fields. Hannah's mine, all screaming, mouths gaping too wide. 10 days in, I see him. A soldier in rags, pale as bone, eyes black with thread, standing by the wheat field, his moan like a shard in my skull. His coat is wrong, moving like it's alive, faces pressing out from the fabric, their mouths gaping, spewing dust. The locket's alive, humming so loud my teeth ache, showing me 1863. Soldiers choking on air, Ezra moaning, the monuments pulsing with their pain. The voices are here, not whispers, but screams, from the fabric, the air, the dark, clawing at my mind. "Caleb, you left me." I run, but the battlefield shakes, fences cracking, splinters oozing red like the monuments are bleeding. The shadows are everywhere, not just the soldier, but things with no faces, limbs twisting, the shroud carved in their chests, oozing pus. I reach the Jeep, but he's there in the windshield, staring, his face mine but pale, lips split, teeth jagged. My phone's got a photo, one I didn't take. Me by the wheat field, staring up, my eyes black, the shroud carved on my neck, skin peeling back. The locket's new mark, wet with slime. "You can't hide." I find a note in Hannah's journal, dated 1863. It's not Ezra, not a ghost. Older than the battle, fed by grief, blood, shame. We woke it. My name's scratched at the bottom, in my writin', but I never wrote it, and the paper smells of rot. The soldiers closer, in the dust, the monuments, his moan a needle in my brain, promise in pain. I tracked down Father Amos, 59, a priest who blessed the cemetery in the 2000s, living in Hanover, hands shaken, shroud scarred from something that wasn't a fall. He's nervous, eyes darting, shows me a 1938 report. It ain't a man, moves like it's hunting, knows who it wants. Amos says the shroud's ancient, older than Gettysburg, tied to the fields, a thing that feeds on loss, families like mine. It picks men, Caleb, broken men. You're marked. He warns me to ditch the locket, flee Pennsylvania, but it won't leave my hand. It's cold, burning like acid. That night, Amos's rectory is dark, his car gone, the shroud scratched on his gate, iron weeping black tar. The voices are louder, not just in the park, but in my Jeep, my head chanting, "Find her, Caleb." I dream of the soldier, his eyes a void, faces trapped in his coat. Hannah, me, our mouths black, screamin. I'm back at the park, no choice. The locket a chain around my soul. The battlefield's alive, monuments pulsing, the shroud everywhere, fences, dust, my skin oozing red, the air smells of blood, and something wet slithers in the dark watching me. I'm losing time. Days slipping like ash through my hands. I wake by Little Round Top, no memory of driving, the locket in my fist, my arms bloody, shrouds scratched in the stone, pulsing like veins, oozing red. The monuments are wrong, bulging flesh like oozing pus that smells of rotten copper. I touch them and they twitch, whispering my name in Hannah's voice, soft, broken, accusing. The shadows are solid, walking, their eyes black, Hannah's face, but their mouths gape, spewing dust that smells of decay. They hiss my sins. Hannah, gone because I was teaching, missed her call, left her to vanish, her screams echoing in my guilt. The shroud's on my arm, deeper, glowing, and when I touch it, I see them. Soldiers, their throats torn, not by Ezra, but him. Something older, rising from the fields, its eyes a shroud of hunger. I find more lockets, hidden under a cannon, all Morrows, all with my name, all pulsing, coated in slime. They show me 1863, soldiers screaming, their blood feeding something below, its hands in their hearts. The radio plays their voices live like they're here begging, "Caleb, don't open it." I try to call Amos, get static. Then his voice, not his, gurgled saying, "You're late." The soldier's here, always here, his shadow in every mirror, the shroud everywhere. Monument dust, my flesh. I don't run, but he's in me. His voice, my thoughts, his hunger gnawing my bones. The battlefield's changing or I'm breaking. Monuments twist, their stone pulsing, the dust boils, fields loop into nowhere, like the park's mocking me. The voices are a regiment, thousands strong, some from 1863, some older, from before the war, all clawing at my name. The locket's humming so loud my ears bleed, showing me Hannah, vanishing in the wheat field, her eyes black, the shroud on her chest, flesh melting. My name's everywhere, fences, dust, my skin, carved deep, oozing black pus. I meet a groundskeeper, Amos, who's seen him in the peach orchard back in 14. He's terrified, hands shaking, says he heard the moan by the rocks, saw his eyes black burning through his dreams. The shroud's his mark, he says, voice cracking. It takes families, keeps them, forever. He shows me his arm, the shroud, faint, weeping like a wound. That night, Amos is gone, his shed empty, the shroud on his door, wood pulsing like it's breathing. The regiment's deafening, led by the soldier, his voice soft, slithering. "Caleb, join us." The soldier's here, his shadow a void, the shroud spinning, dragging me down. The locket's pulling me and I fight it, but the battlefield's his and I'm his too. I dig through county archives, find a deed, 1862. For the battlefield's land, marked with shrouds, owned by a sect who vanished, their kin gone, no graves, no trace. The Morrows settled it, built homes, woke it with their pain. The soldier wasn't the first. Families vanished here for centuries, their bones found with shrouds carved deep, marrow gone. I find a letter from a chaplain 1864 who saw the fields post-battle, empty but alive. the shroud glowing in the dust, monuments weeping tar. It's not a ghost, he wrote, ink smeared with fear. It's a gate. The shadows are me now, my face, my voice, urging me to open it, to let him out. I see the soldiers, not dead, but trapped, in the wheat field, in him, their eyes black, their flesh melting into his coat. The locket shows me Hannah, not gone, but his, her body twisting, maggots bursting from her chest. The shrouds on my chest, complete, burning, and the voices are one, not the soldiers, but his, the thing below, promising peace, power if I turn the shroud. I fight it, but the wheat field's his, pulling me to the fields, the battlefield a cage, the locket his teeth. Gettysburg is unraveling. Folks whispering about moans, missing dogs, dust creeping into homes. I overhear a fight in my office, men blaming each other, saying the battlefield's cursed, hunting sinners. An old man grabs my arm, eyes wild, says he saw his wife's face in the dust last night, her eyes black, screaming. I visit Sister Ruth, 65, a nun who prayed near the cemetery in the 90s, her hands raw from clutching a rosary. She says the wheat field's a judgment, the soldier no ghost, but a curse, fed by secrets like mine. I don't tell her about Hannah, how I let her go, how her screams wake me, but Ruth's eyes bore in. She shows me an 1863 Bible, shrouds scratched in the leather, pages stuck with dried tar smelling of rot. Bury the locket, Caleb, she begs, voice shaken. I leave, but the locket's heavier, its shroud on my neck, pulsing like a second heart. That night, the convent is dark, Ruth's car empty, the shroud carved in the door, wood oozing green slime. The regiment's in my head chanting, "You can't save them." I dream of Hannah, her face half gone, maggots writhing where her mouth should be, calling me. I track down Amos's brother, Silas, a mechanic in Biglerville, 42, eyes haunted. He's seen the locket, knows the shroud. Says Amos ranted about it before he vanished, clawing at his skin. It's not just the Morrows, he says, voice low. The battlefield's cursed, Caleb, older than us, and it keeps what it takes. He shows me photos from 2013, a shadow by the wheat field, pale, its shroud glowing red, air warped around it. Silas has got the shroud too, on his wrist, faint, oozing something that ain't tar. He joins me, desperate, at the park, his hands shaken but his jaw set. We search the fields, find nothing, but the battlefield fights us, dust choking, shadows walking, their eyes black, their hands dripping slime. Silas's flashlight dies, and he screams, "Caleb, it's here!" I grab him, but he's gone, his jacket empty, the shroud on my locket, metal wet with black ooze. The regiment screams, "Open it!" And the soldiers there, his shadow a void, the shroud spinning, pulling me in. I stumble out alone, the locket humming, Silas's name in it, fresh beside mine, letters dripping. The battlefield's screaming, and I'm his prey. I'm seeing things, or he's in me. Every mirror shows my face, but wrong. Scales creeping up my cheeks, my eyes flickering red, teeth too sharp. I scratch my arm, and something moves under the skin, small, wriggling, like a maggot with claws clawing at my veins. The locket's humming louder, showing me visions. Hannah, her body split open, maggots spilling out, her voice begging, "Why'd you leave me?" I try to sleep, but the moan is inside my skull, and my dreams are his, monuments bleeding, dust burning, faces trapped in his eyes screaming my name. I find a note in my pocket, not mine. "Caleb, you're the key." The shroud's spreading on my legs, my back, each mark pulsing like it's eaten me alive. I drive to Lancaster, hoping distance helps, but the radio plays Hannah's voice, not dead, but his, laughing. "You're mine." The town's quiet, but houses are wrong. Their windows pulsing, faces forming in the glass, eyes weeping tar. I scream, and the battlefield screams back. 1,000 voices, all mine. I find an 1862 map in the archives, hidden in a church vault, showing the battlefield's land marked with shrouds labeled forbidden. A note scrawled by a settler says the dust bled when they built, and something rose, its eyes taking their names. The Morrows weren't the first. Families vanished here for centuries. their bones found with shrouds carved deep, marrow sucked dry. I visit a local, Martha, 84, who remembers her grandpa's tales of 1900, how the soldier wasn't just a ghost but a curse, fed by hate. She says the moan scared off natives, kept them from settling, the dust a holy man's lie turned real. Martha's scared, her hand shaken, shows me a scar, shroud-shaped, from a night in '63 when she heard the moan. I leave, but her house is dark by dusk, windows shattered, the shroud on her porch, wood pulsing like a heart. The locket's in my hand, showing me Martha, her face melting, her voice in the regiment chanting, "Open it." The battlefield's bleeding now, red ooze seeping from the monuments, smelling of iron and rot. I'm back at the park. The field's a nightmare, fences collapsing, their wood turning to flesh, maggots bursting through. The shadows are bolder, not just human, but things. Their bodies split open, revealing mouths inside mouths, teeth like needles, spewing dust. They whisper my guilt. Hannah, Martha, Amos, Silas, all dead because I kept digging, kept chasing the locket. I find a child's glove in the dust, fresh, bloodied, the shroud on it, and my stomach churns, bile rising. The locket's humming so loud my bones shake, showing me 1863. Soldiers eating each other, their eyes black, the soldiers' hands in their throats. I try to burn the locket, but it laughs, the flames turning green, forming faces. Hannah's, mine, all screaming. The regiment's a roar, thousands now, their voices wet, like they're drowning in tar. I see him again, standing by the wheat field, his eyes a shroud, his coat dripping flesh, his moan tearing my mind apart. The ground splits and something rises, not the soldier, but his source, a mass of maggots, eyes, mouths, all singing my name. I'm running, but the battlefield won't let me go, fences bending, their frames like claws, dripping black ooze. The locket's in my hand, though I threw it away, its shroud burning through my skin into my blood. I find a drifter, Lena, 43, who's seen him, her cat torn apart last week, the shroud on its bones. She's crazed, eyes bloodshot, says the soldier's not one ghost but many. A hive, living in the monuments. Lena joins me, desperate. But the battlefield turns on us, the dust sucking at our lungs like it's hungry. We find a field, its monuments breathing, faces pushing out, their mouths gaping, spewing the regiment's song. Lena screams, and she's gone, pulled into the ground, her hand left behind, the shroud on it, still twitching. The locket shows me Lena, her body split, maggots bursting out, her voice in the regiment chanting, "Caleb, you're next." I'm alone, the battlefield closing in, the soldier's eyes everywhere, his moan, my heartbeat. I hear a new voice, not Hannah's, not the soldier's, but a girl's crying from the fields. I find a girl, maybe 12, standing in the dust, her eyes black, the shroud on her chest, oozing pus. She says her name's Clara, lost in '81, her papa praying near the cemetery when the dust took her. Clara's hands are wrong, fingers too long, dripping slime, and she whispers, "You're like me, Caleb." I try to run, but she's in my head, showing me her death, dust choking. Her papa's screams, maggots crawling from her eyes. The locket hums, showing me Clara, her body a hive, maggots bursting from her skin, her voice soft. "Help me." I reach for her, but she's gone, the dust swallowing her, the shroud on my hand, her name beside mine. The regiment's louder, Clara's voice leading, "Open it, Caleb." I'm breaking, the battlefield's breaking me, and the soldier's laughing, his moan in my blood. I'm done fighting. The battlefield's waiting, the wheat field a gate open, the soldier there, his shadow a wound in the dust, the regiment deafening. The locket's a map, showing me the wheat field, the shroud, the door. I descend, alone, to the dark, it's cold, glowing, the shroud everywhere. Monuments, ground, my flesh, oozing red. The soldiers are there, not dead, but his, their hands reaching, their eyes black, their bodies twisting, maggots spilling out. I find the shroud a vortex spinning alive, its edges pulsing like a heart spewing black tar. The locket's in my hand, though I left it above, and it burns, showing me Hannah, Clara, all his. their faces melting into his eyes. The voices are one, the thing below, ancient, endless, promising peace, family, oblivion. I touch the shroud and it screams, my blood mixing with the ground, the battlefield shattering. You're home. The earth shakes, the world shakes, and I'm not Caleb, not anymore. I'm back in Gettysburg or somewhere, leading tours, no monuments, no screams. The shroud's on me, faint, glowing, and the voices are quiet, but not gone, whispering in dreams. My name in the dust, the tap of fingers. The wheat field's gone, or I am, but I see them in mirrors in the dark, his shadow my skin, his eyes mine, weeping tar. Silas's kid calls, says he's got a locket, my name in it, but I burn his number, move again. The shrouds multiply, on my walls, my Jeep, my dreams, and I find lockets not mine in my office, all his, all humming, coated in slime. I'm not Caleb, or not just Caleb. I'm the vessel, the door, his claw, his hunger. The battlefield's in me, his roots my blood, his moan my breath. I dream of Hannah, her body a hive, maggots bursting, her voice soft. You let it out. The office is quiet, but the monuments pulse, the shroud foreman, and I know he's here, watching. I move to York thinking distance will save me, but the dust follows thick, alive, humming with his voice. Every night I hear it, the moan, not from fields, but inside me. My bones vibrating, my skin crawling. I find a new locket in my bed. My name scratched, oozing black, the shroud deeper, burning like frost. The town's changing, folks whispering about missing kids, dust bleeding red, shrouds on their doors. I visit a medium, Esther, 67, who's seen him. Her dog's eyes black last month, the shroud on its skull. Esther's terrified, says the soldier's not a ghost but a god, a hive, living in the dust. She reads my palm, screams, her hands burning, the shroud on her skin, fresh oozing pus. I leave, but Esther's shop is dark by dawn, windows cracked, the shroud on her sign, glass pulsing like flesh. The regiment's back, thousands strong, Hannah's voice leading. Caleb, you opened it. I'm back at the battlefield, always back. The dust a cage, the locket my chain. The battlefield's a wound now, fences split open, their wood pulsing, maggots bursting through, eyes in their coils staring. The shadows are legions, not just shapes but armies, their bodies woven from dust, their mouths gaping, spewing ash. They chant my name, their voices wet, like they're drowning in tar, their hands reaching, fingers too long, dripping slime. I find a journal, not mine, in the dust, dated 1860. It's not a field, but a mouth feeding on pain, its shroud a key. My name scratched on every page, wet with tar, and the paper smells of rot. The locket's humming louder, showing me 1863. Ezra's fall, his body split open, maggots spilling out, his voice screaming, I'm not him. I try to pray, but the words burn, my tongue bleeding, the shroud on my lips, pulsing. The soldier's here, his coat a hive, faces pushing out, their eyes black, their screams my own. The dust splits, and the thing rises, not him but it, a mass of shrouds, eyes, maggots, all singing, all hungry. I'm his, and the battlefield's his, and Gettysburg is his, and I'm screaming, but it's his voice. Gettysburg is dying, or it's already dead. The dust's red now, oozing from the streets, the air thick with ash and rot. Folks are missing. Whole families, their homes empty, shrouds on their walls pulsing like hearts. I hear moans everywhere, not just the battlefield, but alleys, churches, my office, all screaming my name. I find a cop, Jonah, 36, who's seen him, his partner torn apart last week, the shroud on his bones. Jonah's desperate, eyes wild, says the town's cursed. The soldier's not one, but many, a hive, living in the dust. We search the battlefield, find fences open, bodies gone, their bones carved with shrouds oozing black. Jonah screams, and he's gone, pulled into the dust, his badge left behind, the shroud on it, still glowing. The locket shows me Jonah, his body a hive, maggots bursting out, his voice in the regiment chanting, Caleb, you're home. I'm alone, the town closing in, the soldier's eyes in every shadow, his moan my pulse. My body's not mine. My skin's scalin'. Maggots writhin' under it, their claws scraping my bones, their eyes staring through my flesh. I cut my arm and they spill out, black, wriggling, each with a shroud, pulsing, screaming my name. The locket's in my hand, always there, its shroud burning through my soul, showing me Hannah, her body a hive, her voice soft. You let me die. I try to die, swallow pills, but they burn, my stomach oozing tar, the shroud on my tongue, alive. I dream of the thing, its eyes a cosmos, its mouth's a regiment, its maggots in my blood, singing, Caleb, you're us. The town's a graveyard now, dust bleeding, shrouds everywhere, walls, cars, my skin, all pulsing, all his. I find a survivor, Micah, 28, hiding in a church, his brother gone, the shroud on his shoes. Micah joins me, but the dust takes him, his screams echoing, the shroud on my locket, his name fresh, dripping. I'm his, and the world's his, and I'm screaming, but it's his scream. I find an 1860 log in the archives hidden in a cathedral vault, showing the battlefield's land marked with shrouds labeled sacred. A settler's note says the dust bled when they settled, and something woke, its eyes taking their souls. The Morrows weren't the first. Settlers vanished here, their bones found with shrouds carved deep, hearts gone. I visit a historian, Elias, 76, who knows the tales. His wife lost in 88, the shroud on her grave. He says the moans scared off natives, kept them from the valley, the dust a prophet's lie turned real. Elias is scared, his hands shaken, shows me a scar, shroud-shaped, from a night in 91 when he heard the moan. I leave, but his house is dark by dusk, windows shattered, the shroud on his door, wood pulsing like a heart. The locket's in my hand, showing me Elias, his face melting, his voice in the regiment chanting, open it. The town's bleeding now, red ooze seeping from the streets, smelling of iron and rot. The battlefield's a nightmare, fences collapsing, their wood turning to flesh, maggots bursting through, mouths in their coils screaming. The shadows are bolder, not just human, but things, their bodies split open, revealing eyes inside eyes, teeth like shards, spewing ash. They whisper my guilt. Hannah, Elias, Jonah, Micah, all dead because I kept searching, kept holding the locket. I find a child's toy in the dust, fresh, bloodied, the shroud on it, and my heart breaks, tears burning. The locket's humming so loud my skull cracks, showing me 1863, soldiers screaming, their blood feeding something below, its mouths in their souls. I try to burn the locket, but it laughs, the flames turning red, forming faces. Hannah's mine, all screaming. The regiment's a storm, millions now, their voices wet, like they're drowning in tar. I see him again, standing by the wheat field, his eyes a shroud, his coat dripping maggots, his moan tearing my soul apart. The dust splits, and the thing rises. Not him, but it. A mass of shrouds, eyes, maggots, all singing, all ravenous. I'm running, but the dust won't let me go, fences bending, their frames like teeth dripping black ooze. The locket's in my hand, though I threw it away, its shroud burning through my heart, into my blood. I find a priest, Father Simon, 57, who's seen him, his dog torn apart last week, the shroud on its skull. He's crazed, eyes bloodshot. Says the soldier's not one ghost, but a god, a hive living in the fields. Simon joins me, desperate, but the dust turns on us, the air sucking at our lungs, like it's alive. We find a field, its monuments breathing, faces pushing out, their mouths gaping, spewing the regiment's song. Simon screams and he's gone, pulled into the ground, his cross left behind, the shroud on it still glowing. The locket shows me Simon, his body split, maggots bursting out, his voice in the regiment chanting, Caleb, you're next. I'm alone, the battlefield closing in, the soldier's eyes in every fence, his moan my breath. I hear a new voice, not Hannah's, not the soldier's, but a boy's crying from the dust. I find a teen, maybe 16, standing in the frost, his eyes black, the shroud on his chest oozing pus. He says his name's Levi, lost in 99, his mama praying near the battlefield when the dust took him. Levi's hands are wrong, fingers too long, dripping slime, and he whispers, You're like me, Caleb. I try to run, but he's in my head showing me his death. Dust choking, his mama's screams, maggots crawling from his eyes. The locket hums, showing me Levi, his body a hive. Maggots bursting from his skin, his voice soft. Help me. I reach for him, but he's gone, the dust swallowing him. The shroud on my hand, his name beside mine. The regiment's louder, Levi's voice leading. Open it, Caleb. I'm breaking, the dust's breaking me, and the soldiers laughing, his moan in my soul. I'm done fighting. The battlefield's waiting, the wheat field a maw. The soldier there, his shadow a wound in the dust, the regiment deafening. The locket's a key, showing me the wheat field, the shroud, the gate. I descend alone to the dark, its cold burning, the shroud everywhere, ground, monuments, my flesh oozing red. The soldiers are there, not dead but his, their hands reaching, their eyes black, their bodies twisting, maggots spilling out. I find the shroud, a vortex spinning, alive, its edges pulsing like a heart spewing black tar. The locket's in my hand, though I left it above, and it burns, showing me Hannah, Levi, all his, their faces melting into his eyes. The voices are one, the thing below, ancient, endless, promising peace, family, oblivion. I touch the shroud, and it screams, my blood mixing with the ground, the battlefield shattering. You're home. The earth shakes, the world shakes, and I'm not Caleb. Not anymore. I'm the gate, the vessel, his voice, and he's free. His shroud everywhere, his hunger the world's. I'm back in Gettysburg or nowhere, leading tours, no fields, no moans. The shroud's on me, deep, glowing, and the voices are quiet, but not gone, whispering in dreams. My name in the dust, the tap of fingers, the wheat field's gone, or I am, but I see them, in mirrors, in the dark, his shadow my skin, his eyes mine, weeping tar. Levi's sister calls, says she's got a locket, my name in it, but I burn her number, move again. The shrouds multiply, on my walls, my jeep, my dreams, and I find lockets not mine. In my office, all his, all humming, coated in slime. I'm not Caleb, or not just Caleb. I'm the vessel, the gate, his claw, his hunger. The battlefield's in me, his roots my blood, his moan my breath. I dream of Hannah, her body a hive, maggots bursting, her voice soft. You let it out. The office is quiet, but the monument's pulse, the shroud forming, and I know he's here, watching. I don't know where I am. The fields are gone, or I am, but the shroud stays, the regiment, the locket, the dust in my blood pulsing like a wound. I see him, in every shadow, every dust, his moan my own, his eyes in every mirror. The world's heavier, darker, like the battlefield spreading, his hunger in every heart, his shroud in every eye, weeping tar. If you're listening, maybe you've heard it. A moan in the night, your name in the dust, a scream at your window. Maybe you've seen him in a dream, a shadow, his eyes yours, his maggots in your soul. He's not gone, not locked, not sleeping. He's waiting, his locket burning, his gate wide, his dust over every valley. And somewhere out there, Gettysburg's calling, rising from the fields to a dust that don't forgive. That's the start of the Shroud's feast, folks. If the battlefield's moan has you checking your shadows, smash that like button. Craving more haunted tales? Subscribe and join the fight. Got a Gettysburg ghost story? Drop it in the comments. I'm listening. Till next time, keep your eyes on the fields and your lockets locked.